All right, good morning and welcome to the program Talk Sport on Global Television. My name is Anthony Momo, the King of Sport, and I've got big stories that would definitely excite you. Over the weekend, there were a lot of matches that were played in the English Premier League and also the Nigerian Professional Football League. A lot of actions and Remo Stars hitting the right buttons and going top of the Nigerian Premier League. We'll also be giving you scores of other matches that were played, and we'll be taking to the EPL, where it was a good day for the Red Devils at Old Trafford, but a bad day for the Blues at Stamford Bridge. Went down. It was 2-1 against Chelsea, and of course the Gunners. They got gone down by 2 amazing goals, and we'll give you details of all those big stories, and also the Golden Flamingos are truly flying in the Dominican Republic, where they walloped Ecuador by 4 sweet goals again by our ladies, showing that they know they're in for business, and like they promised, they're coming back with the trophy. Hopefully, they're now in the quarterfinal stages, so we'll be looking at those very interesting stories. And also, we'll be taking to the world of tennis, where Novak Djokovic tells his longtime rival, his name Rafa Nadal, not to quit the game of tennis. Then one man who got floored by Anthony Joshua, in the person of Francis Ngannou, is back in the UFC, but this time he came back with a vengeance for his son Kobe as he beat the Brazilian heavyweight champion in 4 minutes. I will be taking a look at the UFC. All this is all packed just for your delight on today's exciting edition of the program, Talk Sport. And today's edition, we'll be having the Director General. I'll be unveiling him very soon. He is the Director General of the Pan-African Youth Friendship Games. It's been a long time coming, known him for almost 10 years now, but just got him back on track. And so we'll be looking at all the big stories that have to do with African youth, the Friendship Games, what it stands for, and what it will bring for our dear country, Nigeria, and the African continent. But before we get into all that, let's just give you some bit of the big stories that are coming from the local scene, talking about our beautiful Nigerian Professional Football League. And it was Remo Stars who bounced back from their last defeat to secure a 1-0 win over arch rivals Bende Insurance. You call them the Arsenal of Nigerian football in one of the MPFL Matchday 8 fixtures in Ikenne on Sunday to temporarily move top of the table with massive 18 points. Let's let you know that Della Akori grabbed the only goal of the game with just 3 minutes left in the first 45 minutes to secure maximum points for Dana Ogumo Dede's side. The Sky Blue Stars, as they're called, lost 3-1 to Plateau United on Thursday after a fine start to the season, but a win against Bende Insurance, you call them Bende Arsenal, saw them back in winning ways and returned to the summit of the standings. Meanwhile, Abia Warriors also bounced back from Wednesday's 3-0 defeat to Nasarawa United to beat Plateau United 3-1 in one of the 6 games played on Sunday. Let's let you know that Adamu Abubakar gave the visitors the lead in the 40th minute before 2 quick goals from Sunday Meguo and Adejo Ojo Nugwa in the first half and 4th minute of the additional time to put the host in front before the end of the first half. Meanwhile, Paul Sampson added the 3rd goal in the 61st minute to seal victory for the Warriors, who moved to the 9th on the table with 11 points. Elsewhere, it was Bayelsa United and El Kanemi Warriors of Maiduguri, my team there, and Sunshine Stars all recorded 1-0 wins apiece against Heartland of Owerri, Eyimba, and Nasarawa United, respectively. Let's let you know that Kano Pillars and Kwara United shared the spoils in Katsina in the only game that failed to end in a win. All right, just to give you an update as regards the MPFL home sweet home, let's tell you that Sunshine Stars of Akure Technical Advisor, his name Kennedy Boboye, has confessed his side's win over Nasarawa United was tough. Boboye said that his players failed to live up to expectations despite victory. Meanwhile, Opeoluwa Olufemi's goal gave Sunshine Stars a 1-0 win over Nasarawa United at the Otumba Dikbo Dino Stadium in Djibouti on Sunday. away. Meanwhile, Sunshine Stars climbed to the 4th position of the table following that win, which was very important for them. All right, from the MPFL, let's run into a player who wants to get the national call-up to the Super Eagles. All right, let's tell you that KRC Genk forward Tolu Aroko Dare has clarified that he must work harder. Yes, he has claimed that he must work harder to get recognized at the international level. Aroko Dare has scored 7 goals in 11 league matches for the Smooth this season. That's why his impressive form for the Belgian Pro League side. The 3-year-old has been snubbed by national team selectors. The forward, however, declared that he will continue to working hard to earn a call-up to the Super Eagles. All right, keep working hard. Someday you might just get that call-up, but there's attacking force, I must tell you, of the Super Eagles is filled to the teeth. We've got Victor Osimhen there already. We have Victor Boniface trying to break into the team. We've got Simon Moses. We've got Terry Murphy also in the wings waiting. And we've got Cyril Desires, who plays in Scotland, also waiting for his chance in the national team. We've got lots of them waiting to grab a copy of the top striking roles of the Super Eagles. All right, let's give you the story before we go for a quick break. Let's take it to Spain. The La Liga is in the news this morning. Let's tell that Sevilla manager Garcia Pimenta has reviewed Chidera Ejuke, that's the Super Eagles midfielder, is set for a spell at the sidelines due to injury. Ejuke sustained an injury in Sevilla's 5-1 defeat to Barcelona on Sunday night. The winger was replaced late in the first half by Albert Sambi Lukonga. Pimenta confirmed that after the game that the Nigerian international sustained a hamstring injury. A very sad story there. Let's let you know that the 26-year-old has scored once in 9 league outings for Sevilla this season. All right, moving on, let's take you to Germany. Quick one. And taking to Germany, we've got the story that Bundesliga champions Bayer Leverkusen have issued an update on the health condition of Nigerian international Victor Boniface following a car crash in Germany. The Super Eagles strikers survived the car crash accident on Sunday, hours after guiding Leverkusen to a 2-1 win over Eintracht Frankfurt in the German Bundesliga. In a now deleted post on his social media account, the 23-year-old shared video footage and photos of his smashed car after an accident. Boniface wrote, "God is the greatest, and God says my time hasn't come." All right, that's a thank God for saving his life. And so we've still got Victor Boniface to help fire Nigeria to the World Cup in 2026. And still got a long time to deliver the goods for the Super Eagles and Bayer Leverkusen. All right, we'll go for a quick break. When we return from the break, we'll be taking to the Under-17 World Cup, and I'll be introducing my guest who is waiting in the wings, just like a striker that wants to make his debut for his national team. Wait for us. Right, welcome back from the break. It's still Talk Sports on Global Television, and we've got all the big stories making the rounds. It's no longer news that Nigeria's Flamingos made a bold statement at the FIFA Under-17 Women's World Cup in Dominican Republic with a 4-0 thrashing of Ecuador in the second Group A match on Saturday night at the Estadio Cibao Santiago de los Caballos. Bancole's Chargers dominated their South American opponents from start to finish, securing a decisive result that has propelled them into the tournament quarterfinals. The first team to do so, having secured 6 points from 2 matches. And we have Shakirat Moshood, who scored a brace, opening the scoring in 28 minutes from a penalty spot and rounding off the match with a goal in 6 minutes into added time. While Harmony Chidi made it 2-0 in the 54th minute, while Peace Effiong added a third, and Nigerians kept their opponents constantly on the defensive and could have easily doubled the score, having taken 31 shots in with 13 on target. So that's how well the Flamingos are doing. And let's invite my guest now, who has been waiting to finally make his debut on the program Talk Sport. I want to say welcome to Richard Obo Ekong, who is the Director General of the Pan-African Youth Friendship Games. It's been like 7-8 plus years I saw you last. Welcome to the program.
It's my pleasure.
All right,
it's my pleasure.
Yeah, let's look at talking sports and talking youth. You're as the DJ of the Pan-African Youth Friendship Game. What's your impression about the Flamingos?
I think that's the best news that had come to me for some time now. I don't want to be in the blame game, and I don't want to play the blame game. But sincerely, this is the best outing we've had for a very long time. And the fact that it is this youthful legs that have done this, it means our salvation in sports development in this country is through these young persons. I couldn't understand why the noise about the Super Eagles beating Libya 1-0, and we made that a dance. I say no, because if I had gotten to Libya, if not what happened, another thing would have happened. But let us take this sports of a thing to the grassroots, to the schools, and get our future stars from this very, very available great hands in sports. And that is why, believe you me, I was so happy watching these girls on the screen. Their first match against New Zealand, I was amazed, I said, so we still have this kind of ones in Nigeria. Nigeria that boasts of the very best in all category of sports in the continent and the world, and then we become walk over for minnows. Benin Republic smacking our bomb, and I said, what is really happening? And I found out, my organization found out, that the best thing we should do is to go back to the basics.
Yeah, you've always advocated for grassroots sports development as far as I can remember. Let's look at this temporary search for players, especially when it has to do with the other something. That's only when it seemed like we take that effort, make that effort to go to the grassroots. How much better can we be if we are deliberate about it and consistent at it, and not just when the World Cup is around the corner or when we need to build a new under-17 or under-20s?
Nigeria is very used to fire brigade approach to things. And that's one of the things that had affected us terribly to this extent. I want to tell you that when I was a growing young man, on a weekly basis, I watched on the Nigerian Television Authority, then that was the only one we had. And every week they will come out with a German sporting activity. You find them doing everything to enable them have what we later called the German machines on a very, very consistent, constant exposures. Our one-time Minister for Sports, Emeka Omerwa,
Yes.
said he was in Cuba on a state visit, and he was taken around the country's capital, and everywhere he turned to, he saw young persons doing something, either doing boxing, playing football, in table tennis, in wrestling, in everywhere. So when he had the opportunity to meet with Fidel Castro, the great man, he asked him, he said, Your Excellency, I saw everybody doing sports. He said, Are you sure that was what you saw? He said, Yes, I saw everybody, everywhere. He said, Who were those doing the sports you saw? He looked. He said, Okay, young people. He said, Good. I keep my young people very busy throughout the day in constructive, positive measures so that they will let me sleep in the night and do other state works. What is missing is that we have too much of freedom for our youths. We don't coordinate their activities.
Why is the government not interested in investing at the grassroots sports? Is it because they don't have immediate gains in terms of kickbacks, monies, and so they do not want to, put their efforts into a long-term program that would bring stars for
Tony,
next
I wouldn't want you to put me on the hot seats on this issue. But the fact of the matter is that the government is not interested in grassroots developments.
Why?
Maybe the lackers are not on that side. The fatback accounts are not on that side. You can't ask any footballer to bring you millions of naira. Although I can disclose to you that some behind the scene
Just to get national call-up.
to get national call-ups, even to get call-ups into all these privately run academies. So we should have a very grand plan. If you look at our sports policy, Tony, if you look at our national sports policy, if you see the beautiful concepts in the national sports policy, implementation is zero. Very many things are lacking. Very many things are lacking in implementation.
Can we say it's because the whole burden is on the government and not the private sector also being involved and not taking the initiative rather than just waiting for the government to be the one to lead the way? That's another...
It is what butters the bread of corporate organizations that they go into. The very initial plans of you setting up a company, a manufacturing company or otherwise, is to make money. And if the government that owns the country and owns the youths is turning the others' eyes, what do you think these corporate bodies can do? But we know very many of the corporate bodies that have done so wonderfully well for Nigerians' grassroots sports development. But we shouldn't say they have done enough.
All right, let's look at, let's focus on Nigeria now. Nigeria, the Flamingos. What's your expectations now? They've qualified for the quarterfinals. Should they be more careful and cautious so that they don't seem to get carried away? Well, look at the under-17, they're still minors. And for the coach, how big is the task for Bankole to ensure that the feat of getting to the semifinals and getting to the final. They broke the jinx last time out, but how careful should they be, or should they just maintain
We
the
should
same?
not be overconfident on the field of play with whoever our opponent is going to be. We should be very, very careful. The management team should tighten the noose anywhere it is loose, so that whenever these girls go onto the pitch of play, they know they have tightened all the loose ends. And it is for the central person to just stand in that place and move the players into the pitch and into the goals.
From what you've seen so far, where would you say are the loopholes you notice about the Flamingos?
No matter what we had played, no matter the numbers of goals we have scored, we still have some gray areas we need to look into. From the goalkeeper to the defenders, to the midfield, and to the attacking lineup. Let us know that as humans, we might have made some mistakes, some costly mistakes, like what happened to us now. So, I want to see to our girls winning the quarterfinal match, moving into the semi-final, and overwhelm the entire world by us winning that trophy. It's been a long time, mind you.
All right, let's move on. Let's take one more story. Before we do some analysis, let's let you know that Nigerian referees were not listed by the Confederation of African Football, CAF, for the upcoming Women's Champions League in Morocco. The football body selected 52 match officials, including 16 referees, 14 assistant referees, and 10 video assistant referees from countries in the continent without any Nigerian in the list. It was gathered that the referees from Niger Republic, Burundi, and Mauritania made the cut. The CAF Women's Champions League, which is set to kick off November 9th and wrap up on November 23rd, will also feature Nigeria representative Edo Queens. Other 8 teams that will compete include Mamelodi Sundowns of South Africa, the Aigles de la Mina of Senegal, ASFR of Morocco, TP Mazembe of DR Congo, and University of Western Cape, South Africa, and the Commercial Bank of Ethiopia, and the host countries' representatives will be part. Let's look at the issue of CAF not selecting any Nigerian official. Looking at the Women's Champions League, Nigerian referees missing 52 officials. We do not have any referee, no video assistant official there. How bad is a Nigerian officials that CAF keeps overlooking us? In the past, they had said it's because of corruption. Nigerian league has gotten better. Officials have gone for courses, refresher courses also. What do you think? Is it just that bad name tag on Nigerian referees are still holding us down, or this is deliberate by the francophone?
Do we have a Nigerian rep in CAF as a body? And what is that person's responsibility to his country that he is representing? If we have a voice in CAF, and the voice is as good as it's supposed to be, if you're talking about the francophone countries and etc., they have a way to collaborate and coordinate themselves. When they speak their French language, every other person in that place that is a French person listens to them. But I put the blame at the doorstep of Nigeria's representative in CAF. How can we select 52 persons from Africa? Nigeria is not number 1, Nigeria is not number 2. How? How did it come about? Sometimes I run away from listening to news or watching television because I have bleeding hearts. I can't imagine such magnitude of carelessness. Nigeria? I'm so passionate about this country, Nigeria. I don't like us being shortchanged. But our representatives, you are saying the officials have gone on
refresher
courses and etc. Our ministers don't go for refresher courses in Europe. What do they bring back with? Don't we? Okay, so many times we go and buy some things that are sold here at the Wuse markets. We buy them in Dubai and bring them back home. Proud I bought it from Dubai. What have we learned from this refresher courses we went for? I was somewhere some 3 weeks ago. It was at the Area 3 football pitch. And there was a very serious boxing show in the field of football. Who was at the receiving end? The center man.
The referee.
The center referee was at it. You see, so if such a scenario is taken a shot of and sent to CAF, do you think CAF will recognize that person for a calling? How good, how prepared are we for international outings? I know years ago, the Bolaji Okubule and co. were ruling the waves in Africa. Oh, it was their turn then. It is not the turn of this now. So let the ones now emulate those persons of that time. But first and foremost, we must have the Nigerian spirit in
What
us.
of the Nigerian Football Federation and the NPFL, those organizing our local league? Does this go to say that the result we get in our local matches are also not completely honest results?
Tony, you are very deliberate this morning. You're very deliberate this morning to put me on the hot seat. You want NFF to come after me.
No,
because
we're just trying to state the obvious and the solution.
Oh, okay. Because as far as I am concerned, the Nigerian Professional Football League had not come up to standard.
Is it based on the style of play, the quality of players, the pitches, or the coaching staff?
You see, for us to get there, I saw a team of Katsina States.
Yes.
Taking a look.
Katsina United now.
Katsina United taking a look
Boston.
at a stadium.
Okay.
Somewhere in Europe. I think it was in Spain or so. And they took pictures of the place, and they were standing, and pictures of them were taken. And I looked at the stadium they were backing, and I said, does Katsina United have this stadium that you are showcasing? Does Plateau United have this kind of stadium? Akwa United, do you have this kind of a stadium? Because Akwa United cannot claim Godswill Akpabio Stadium. Rivers United, I wonder why all of us are calling ourselves United. Let's have some other names. But be that as it may, our playing pitch needs to be re-looked into. Our coaching standard needs to be re-looked into. You don't need to go overseas. There are things we can do in this country where people like Thunder Balogun of years ago were able to play barefooted and give Nigeria the results we wanted. Where Friday Epo, at then Premier College in Lagos,
Calabar Rovers, huh?
of Calabar Rovers later, played barefooted and gave us results. The commitment by even our managers, our administrators, are not really there. So, for us to be, I don't talk about Paris experience, mind. For us to be no number in 52 names in Africa, and you hear Niger Republic is there? Oh God. Oh God.
All right, a very sad commentary. Let's go for a very quick break. When we return from the break, I'll be looking at all the fixtures as regards the CAF Women's Champions League, and we'll be giving you some other big stories coming from the EPL. Stay with us. All right, welcome back from the break. You still talk sports, and I still have the DG of the Pan-African Youth Friendship Games in the person of Ekong, who is here. Ambassador Richard Ubo Ekong is in the live studio helping us to look at a very interesting talking point across the exciting world of sport. Just to let you know, in case you didn't know, that the official draw was conducted on Friday, October 18 at the complex Mohammed VI in Sali, Morocco, the fourth edition of the Africa's Top Women's Club competition. Will take place between November 9th and 23rd, 2024, featuring 8 teams. These include the champions from the CAF 6 zonal regions, along with tournament host ASFR and defending champions Mamelodi Sundowns of South Africa. We've got Edo Queens making their debut in the tournament. We'll face top competition in Group B, which includes fellow debutants in the two-time Camon from Egypt and Ethiopia's CBE-FC and the reigning champions Mamelodi Sundowns. The champions of the tournament will receive a prize money of 400,000 USD, while the runners-up will take home 250,000 USD, and that's what CAF is offering. All right, just for you to know, ASFR of Morocco is in Group A. They've got Egus, Vela Medina of Senegal, and TP Mazembe, DR Congo. And we've got the University of Western Cape from South Africa making up Group A. In Group B, we've got Mamelodi Sundowns, the champions from South Africa, and we've got the two-time Cameroon of Egypt, and the CBE-FC from Ethiopia, and of course your darling the Queens from Nigeria making up Group B. The official draw was conducted, like I told you, in Morocco last week. It's Africa's top women's club competition, which will take place on the 9th and 23rd. We wish our team the very best. As let's look at in terms of CAF and women football. Would you say CAF has done enough to support women football with the creation of the CAF Women Champions League and other, regional tournaments?
Well, let's give it to CAF. They're trying, but it's not enough. Because even the crowd in Nigeria, for such a women championship, will be having more than 8 teams playing if it is well organized. Let CAF step down to each member country to organize this kind of championship. These kinds of championship, be it for the women, be it for the athletic youths, be it for the catching them young. Because if you catch them young and they grow to the stage of the under-17, from the under-17 they grow to the stage of the one we're having in Morocco now, it will be easy for us to go to the World Cup proper.
But looking at the groupings we are seeing now in terms of ASFR from Morocco, we've got Senegal there, we have TP Mazembe of Congo, and University Western Cape of South Africa. Would you say these are the powerhouses of African football, and these clubs have been good both for their male and female folks? So can we give the clubs some credit, the fact that we know ASFAR of Morocco, their male team, are doing great things, and also TP Mazembe, the African champions, a couple of times. And would you say it's a mixture of some traditional teams and some upcoming teams getting involved? And what are the chances of Edo Queens looking at the lineup in Group B?
I wouldn't want us to in any way underrate any of those teams against Edo Queens.
Okay.
Can
we consider that a group of death? Looking at that the champions are there, Mamelodi Sundowns. We've got the Egyptian strong team also in that group.
Well, it will be suicidal for Mamelodi Sundowns.
Yes, the defending champions, yeah.
To look down on Edo Queens because they are just coming in for the first time.
Yeah.
And for the Moroccan team. To also
look
down
as far
so whichever one they call the group of death,
yeah.
It is on the quality of the players and their comportment at the particular time they are on the field that matters most. Sometimes these big names doesn't make any meaning to me. When I used to be a coach, I'd always like my boys playing against tougher teams. Going to that pitch, that guy is wearing 2 boots the way you are wearing yours. Go and exercise your right on him and get what you want. And that was the result we had during those times. So what I would say is, group of death or no group of death, if Edo Queens gathers itself, having emerged from Nigeria is a very tough terrain. Nigeria is a very, very tough terrain. For you to emerge as a champion
yeah.
Oh boy, your ear go dry, your lip go dry. You understand it now? So that they were able to make it in Nigeria, they can make it in that
4-team group.
From 4-team group. So irrespective of the big names there, they should just ignore those big names and go for it.
All right, let's get into Europe now. Let's begin with one player who is considered one of the greatest players of all time. I don't know if Richard shares that opinion, but let's just let you know that on fire Lionel Messi on Saturday became Inter Miami's all-time leading scorer after scoring his second hat-trick of the week as the US-based club beat a New England Revolution 6-2 with a hat-trick. With the hat-trick, the 8-time Ballon d'Or winner took his tally for the club to 33 goals. Miami win in their final game of the regular season took them 74 points, one more than the previous record set by New England in 2021. Messi, who came off the bench in the 58th minute and led the late flurry of goals, has now scored 20 goals in 19 appearances in MLS, with the former Barcelona teammate Luis Suarez also notching 20 from 27 games. The challenge of breaking the record added some spice to the final game of the regular season, with Inter having already secured the Supporters' Shield for the best record in regular season to stamp themselves clear favorite in MLS Cup playoff, which starts next week. Let's look at Messi. Is he proving that he's still one of the greatest of all time? In comparison to Cristiano Ronaldo, who went Saudi Arabia.
The best I have known of Messi is scoring goals. And the best I know of Messi is he's been a very disciplined person. If you watch Lionel Messi properly well, you find out that he doesn't like to be in any form of controversy. Such persons make things easy for themselves because even your enemy will put the ball in your leg for you to score. Because he is an idol. He's a soccer team with the person you mentioned, Tony.
But looking at both players, would you say the competition is still up there between them silently trying to prove a point? And would you say Messi has that edge already, having won the Ballon d'Or 8 times, even though those 2 occasions were controversial?
Controversial, yeah, they were controversial, but even then, not caused by Messi. It was the administrators, the organizing groups that did that dirty game. It was not it was not Messi.
But for
be that as
what
it
game was it for? If you agree that it was done deliberately by the organizer, what was the benefit? What point were they trying to prove?
If it was not by them, how would Messi have maneuvered to get to that place, to get the results they give him? You see, there are things that I always look at, which may differ from somebody else. Why did the group do this? You know, there are lots of betting games in the world.
Sure.
And one of them might have said, give us this for this. Let it be Lionel Messi. And we know on the pitch, Messi did well.
Yes, he did.
And we know on the pitch, Messi is still doing well. But not to that level again. If you think he's going to play international soccer again, his legs are wobbling now. Although if he was to be a Nigerian, he would have been put into the Super Eagles team.
But he's still playing for Argentina. He even scored in their last qualifiers.
They only used him because of the idol that he is. For full-time soccer playing in Argentina, Lionel cannot make the team. There are much more younger boys there. But they have to invite him, which is something that you don't know how to do in Nigeria. They have to invite him to spur the players into action. When Baba speaks at the sideline and the player looks up, Baba has spoken. He's telling me to go this way.
All right, let's take one more story before we call it a wrap. Time not our friends. Time always running when you're having fun. Let's talk UFC. I'll let you know that Francis Ngannou took less than 4 minutes to knock out Reina Ferreira, marking an emotional return to the mixed martial arts, MMA. The former UFC heavyweight champion stepped back into the cage for the first time in over 2 years, having last defended his title against Cyril Gane. In the interim, Francis Ngannou had pursued a brief boxing career, narrowly losing to Tyson Fury on points before suffering a brutal second-round knockout against Anthony Joshua. Ngannou had originally faced Ferrari prior to his loss to Joshua. True to his word, he returned to the Professional Fighters League, the PFL, to take on the formidable Brazilian champion despite the heart-wrenching loss of his 1-year-old son earlier this year. Ferrari, who claimed the PFL heavyweight title last year, had defeated Ryan Bader earlier in 2024 to set up the highly anticipated clash with Ngannou. All right, let's just quickly look at this MMA. For Francis Ngannou, you think he should have remained in boxing, or you think he's better fixed in the mixed martial arts?
I just think Ngannou is doing one thing that we should learn how to do. Each and every one of us have this inbuilt thing in us. We be masters of more than one or two things at the same time. So that he has been able to come to that level in both, I think it should be an encouragement to other athletes to also see. There was one. Was that not Bolt?
Usain Bolt.
Usain Bolt was an athlete and a footballer.
Trying to play football, yeah.
It means he had both in his legs, he had both in his body. But how to now make it become something that puts some good food on that table became the issue. For me, Ngannou had gotten to that stage where he had to take a decision now, because steering himself into two at a particular time could be very dangerous. Let his concentration be on this. Okay, after I got this, I'll now go for this, since I'm still very young. So That's my own opinion about it. I don't know of yours.
All right, let's move on to the next talking point. Let's talk some tennis as Novak Djokovic employed long-time rival Rafael Nadal to put off his planned retirement after defeating the Spaniard Saturday in what was likely to be the final chapter of their storied rivalry. He added that their battles over the years had been very intense and told Nadal he hopes they could one day sit on a beach somewhere and take a drink. Let's look at Nadal. Nadal is now 38. He's announced October 10 that he would retire from tennis. No doubt Nadal and Djokovic have given us a lot of exciting moments when it has to do with tennis. But do you think Djokovic is right asking Nadal to stay put when Nadal, obviously, his body can't carry him, too many injuries, and he's losing to people he would beat with so much ease in the past?
A game will definitely start one day and will end one day. Nadal had paid the price, had done so very well in tennis, and I think if one looks at his corner in his house there, where he has all the laurels,
and he's the king of clay,
and the king of clay, you know that definitely a time will come. You have to take the bow and leave the scene. And when he becomes...
Did he wait too long?
At 38, no. Because we've had other players that were 42 before they
retired.
Otto Ashe of those days was still playing good tennis at even 42. So what I'm trying to say is that Djokovic might just be pulling his legs. And I not seen a very good player.
Are we likely to get the days of Pete Sampras, Roger Federer, Nadal, and Djokovic, these four great men? Do you think we have to fill their era, or though we have Carlos Alcaraz currently?
The fact of the matter is that in other climes, they keep on producing new hands. They keep on, because their training programs are special. So if you are talking about people going to overseas to go and do seminars and retreats and etc., let them come back with those retreats they did. Let us implement them here. We can have better federal in tennis within a very short time from now, because I know they will not rest.
All right, so just a quick one before we call it a wrap, just to let you know that Barcelona continue their hot form by thrashing Sevilla 5-1. Arsenal lost 2-0, and Manchester United were able to win a very hard-fought victory over their rivals. It was a very tough one for Manchester United. Brentford almost doing them same thing they did last season. And that's, for the want of time, that's how much time is going to take us. We want to say big thank you to Ambassador Richard Obo Ekong, who is the DG of the Pan-African Youth Friendship Games, joining us in the live studios. Hopefully, next visit we'll be talking with more on the Pan Youth Games, what it has in store, how far it has gone over the years, and when we're expecting African youth to converge in the coming weeks or months. Thank you very much.
Thank you so very much. Thank you very much.
All right, that's how we're going to call it a wrap on today's edition of the program Talk Sport on Global Television. My name is Anthony Momodi, saying thank you for being part of today's edition. Tomorrow promises to be more exciting as we bring more very entertaining stories and with guests that would give you very balanced analysis. Good morning.
Good morning.